Good evening, everyone. This video goes out to Eric because we had a bit of a chat the other day about, what sort of angle the aeroplanes lift up off the ground. And we're talking about how much it goes over the curve and all that sort of stuff. Look, I mean, there's so much there to do. I figured I would go and do the first little thing too and just see how things go. I tried to get the most straightest line because there's a lot of aeroplanes which take off, do a big sort of 180 and then fly away, or maybe they're coming out of Phoenix and they turn right. How do you measure that sort of stuff? I mean, unless I go out there and pick points in around the corner, I just wanted something that would just went barrel line straight out like a shotgun. And so that was a bit tricky. It was a bit tricky to find the perfect one, but I did find one it was a FedEx flight from Memphis to Winnipeg in Canada, and it was mid-flight at the time, so it was flying over the top. It was like near the border of America when I was looking at it. Apparently it's already landed, so yeah, not bad. I mean, in the time when I've been mucking around just trying to get the data, this plane has already landed, which means that the data is now complete. But that didn't really matter anyway because I was still punching off the old data anyway. So, for reference, this particular flight, FedEx Memphis to Winnipeg, FX134, and the flight date here was the 20th of August 2024. I think that this plane has been doing a 2 hour and 20-minute general flight so far. So that's what they're averaging at the moment. Now, I was a little bit skeptical about, I wasn't 100% sure whether or not, I did my first test on flightaware.com, and I was like, well, surely these planes don't reach their maximum height after 100 kilometers or something like that. Surely they get up a little bit quicker than that. But lo and behold, it seems to show the same data. So it's actually, I'm perfectly happy. It seems to be verified. As you can see here, we've got this bend on the Mississippi over here. This is where it seems to have reached 34,000 feet. And as you can see that bend, and as you can see this bend over here. So the Tennessee, Missouri, Mississippi River bend right there. And as you can see, it's got this little side river out there, and it seems to be pretty down correct. And it's reached full height of 34,000 feet at about 137.9 kilometers. Now, of course, most Americans obviously reading in miles. I'm sorry about that. I can't think in miles because, compute feet to miles and however many. Fucking imperial. Nah, can't do it. It just can't do it. Kilometers, metric, keep it simple, scientific. So yeah, I'm very, very happy that FlightAware seems to be bringing up this exact same details as Flight Radar 24. Now, what I did was I obviously I used this little aeroplane slider, and I went down and I just picked the heights that I felt were significant, I guess. So I went from the 0 foot, and then I measured it, I think I went to 1,000 feet or something like that, and 5,000 and 10,000 and 15,000, roughly in the ballpark. And I basically went out there and measured how far it was from the point of liftoff to which suburb it lifted. I mean, it lifted. It was at a certain point down next to the Memphis Zoo at one point in time. So, I just went and calibrated all those particular details, and this one where it passed over the Mississippi up here, and all the way up to, it was somewhere up here over there. So, yeah, up near Rector and stuff like that. There was 1 point over Rector. And yeah, sorry, I've now lost where I am. That's fine, but as you can see, it was this location here. Well, sometimes it refreshes. Great fun. But as you can see, what I did was I basically plotted this in here, and I basically dragged this, to its locations that it was. So it was let's go to Kessler and stuff like that, and we'll go to the Mississippi River crossing. I just dragged from location to location based on where I believed it liftoff, which was about this midpoint in the at the Memphis airport. So using crude methods, but I'm getting some data and I'm putting it together. So I think that's perfectly fine for something amateur anyway. This is what I got. So FX134 at 1,000 feet, 0 kilometers distance. This is the feet over here, so 1375, 3150, all the way up to 3400. I did a little conversion system in here. You'll notice I've just done the multiplication system to be able to convert it to meters for myself. And I punched in the distance that I was getting off Google Maps. And all I did was I just simply rounded it up by 1,000 or something like that, so I could just input it in meter as well. So obviously, at 137,000 meters, it was 10,000.3 meters high in the sky. So, and as you can see here, I've tried to give it some sort of idea. So if anyone wants to double check my work, you can see that there was still on a tarmac. It crossed Kimball Avenue. It was in the bed of the zoo. It was at like Fraser Road or something like that. It crossed the Mississippi. It reached the town of Wilson, and then it went to Wilson Junction, and then by Rector, which is it was that Rector actually. By Rector, it was at its full height up here, Rector. So it was at full height somewhere over in this little patch over here. So well on its way up to Winnipeg up here. So I had to go over St. Louis and Minneapolis and all the way down and landed in Winnipeg. So that was my little plan. I'm over here. Okay, so what I did was I figured I would do it in SketchUp. Go away. I figured I would do it in SketchUp because sometimes we'll be doing it in CAD and it's not very, very clear. So this, you can actually see something in sort of a 3D format. So if you can imagine this part over here being Memphis Airport right here, and it lifted, right? Now, it does seem as though the first liftoff is the most pitched, which I'm sure most people will agree. They really kick it. They really kick it hard when they lift off the tarmac, and you really plant it back into your seat pretty hard. And this seems to be computing up as 16.7 degrees. All right, so it went 1.4 meters along the path, and it lifted 419 meters in height. When it went on to that further distance here, I'm not going to quote it because I didn't put the dimension on it, but it reached 260 meters, basically a kilometer. It went up to 2 kilometers, 3 kilometers, 4.8 kilometers, 6.3, all the way up to 10.3 kilometers, which is the 34,000 feet. And as you can see here, this is all the pitch angles that it is, which is basically the answer I'm trying to give to Eric. So first one, 16.7. Obviously to climb to get up out of the area. Once you're flying over the town, you're at 6.7 degrees. And then the patch over the top of the zoo, I believe, was about 10.1 degrees. So they did climb a little harder again after this small flat spot. So they must have lifted hard and just had it like a mild rest to some degree, I guess, because you're pitching up really hard. You want to ease off on the engines, and then you sort of kick back up a little bit, I guess. And this is obviously a much broader scale than just pointing it from one direction all the way to the tip. But I can probably still go out there and reenact that. So 10.1 degrees, 8.3 degrees. So as you can see, it's beveling off. It reached 4.3 degrees. 4.3 again, and then it's winding down to 3 degrees and 3.1 degree. So that is so as you can see, it hits it real hard at the beginning, it hits it real hard at the beginning, and then it eases off as it goes through. So let me just see if I can find out what this pitch is for, so that I can double check how much it is on average, because the average is not that great. I'm going to quickly paint this, and I'm going to transparent it so that you can see straight through it. Now, protractor. No. Come on, give me green. There we go. Ah, you bastard. It's tricky. It's a bastard. There we go. Okay. Up to... I got 4.3 degrees on average. Okay. So that is the average pitch. 4.3 degrees. I'm pretty sure it was. Sorry. Done. Okay. So average of 4.3 degrees, and as you can see, that was the this was all those pitches. So pretty hard at the beginning, and then lightly bevels off. And yes, it does seem to take 137 kilometers to get to their premium altitude. So they're certainly well out of their state by the time they reach the height that they wish to get to, which I was actually surprised. I thought they would have achieved it, in about 20 kilometers or something like that. But seems like that's not the case. So very interesting. Look, I don't know what it proves. It doesn't really prove anything at all. But it does, tell me a lot of interesting things. So it's given me a picture of what it looks like when those planes elevate. So do with that what you will. But I think it's very interesting. So yeah, thanks for listening.